Welcome, welcome to the lovely IHP community and our 5D collective of mystics, spiritual, mindfully living, loving people. This one's for our mystic community, those who are knowing how every one of those themes and ascension energies are coming about, or the ones who are curious. The 5D way, though. So the 5D way means you're a self-agent. We've been talking about that and what it means to be a securely attached, non-traumatized brain person. So you have an integrated brain, whether you use the words or not. Self-agents, you see, they have, as I shared today, no exiles. So we don't have partners who treat us like babies, and we don't treat them like babies. And that's because we don't have unfinished business that needs real. So we don't have a window that is small of tolerance to that, which is called affect. It's also why we don't need real to explain to us how to not have arguments with our lovers and or lover and or human beings in general, because I'm not talking about romance. In fact, lover doesn't necessarily mean romance. In the 5D mystic here in the Enlightenment Soul Age groups, Maria's perspective. So when people like to assume things, I love to not know any of it. But I'm trying to let you all know I don't use words the same way other people do. And that's because IHP is made for infinite higher human consciousness potential experiencing people. That means they know how to stay in the present, which is why we don't assume anything. And some people will call us dumb. That's okay. We're cool with it. You know why? Because we're curious 3-year-olds. As I said before, I'm attachment trauma informed. Did I? I don't remember. Wait, I'm so sorry. I'm grounded in reality. So this is what happens when you know smart people who say grounded in reality means that any of your cherishable beliefs could be falsifiable. God, I love you. Source, spirit, FYI, I don't doubt you at all, but remember, science doesn't believe in you, nor do any of those who call me woo-woo pseudoscience lady. But you know what I make fun of? The ones who, when I tell them there's no demon that possesses any of our brothers or sisters, there's neuroscientists and neurotheologians and the science and spirituality community and a lot more smart people that have explained to me how the brain works, and Patrick McNamara is one of them, and how decentralizing of the self works. And when someone goes and gets interviewed and spread rumors about yoga bringing demons out of you, I think that's really misinformation. But there's a lot of misinformation out there, and people would point at me and say I'm misinformation too. I'm okay because I'm authentically saying I'm woo-woo pseudoscience. I ain't giving you a lecture of school. I don't do teacher. I didn't want to become a teacher. No, I don't want to do academia, and I wouldn't have become a teacher anyways. I'm a mystic again. So mysticism and anyone who is an actual one doesn't actually prove spirituality. We know that God, divinity, source, is actually consistently amongst us. We also don't embody greatness, as humility is one of the most important elements for you to have integrity, and above all, to have self-agency. This is called my 1-year-old, who doesn't need to get in any way, shape, or form attached, panicky. We can thank my panic attacks for that one. My 3 to 7, there's no shame submissive, because my mother allowed me to be all my angry butthole, because luckily for me, I come with a Neapolitan heritage, so all of us yell, which is not rude behavior. So I didn't get suppressed, so I'm not in a angry butthole with suppression. Fear, I was also allowed to express it. I was a little bit contained in it, but that was for good reason. As a woman, my mother ensured that I would know that I would face grown-ups who, if they looked at me in a certain way, I would go rat them out, which I did until I didn't need to rat anybody out. And I told those adolescents, you touch me, I will rat you out. No, I will report you. Try, touch me. Let me get you to who I know you're going to go to. And they could keep coming at me with the whole goody two-shoes and all that. I didn't give a shit. And that's how it works when you're an empowered person with a brain that works. Why would I care that I'm being booed on a Friday evening for asking for homework when I know I want to be intelligent and not pretend to be? So when people talk about humanity and their divinity or their demonic nature, and they don't know how the brain is made, and they tell me neuroscience is bullshit, everybody has something to believe in, that's when I don't do anything. I'm an empowered feminine. I don't waste time with masculines. It's not men. Masculines are half a brain. That's how it works. And when people remind me that I have very strong opinions and they're trying to tell me that's judgment, I say, no, I'm not charged, because I'll know when I am. And actually, God keeps chiming in to let me know to stop judging human suffering, as I do judge it a waste of my fucking time. Not good or bad. You're bad. You do cocaine and you're a lawyer. You're bad. You're not even a good professional. You're not healed yet. You're bad because ineffective, not bad or good in a way of casting stones. Again, I know where I stand with I'm a piece of consciousness. I'm just as flawed and imperfect as anybody else. But my personality pattern, it's still very much the same perfectionist I was when I was a kid. But as I got older, since I'm a self-agent, since again I was lovingly accepted, thank you, Mother, I was not reprimanded for having all the emotions in the world. I was not treated like a little soldier. And whenever I see any of children being treated like little soldiers, I wish I was a huge, huge, huge piece of energy in that moment. And luckily for all humanity, I'm not. And I have a lovely spiritual author who, her and I together, as we chit-chatted, we're like, wow, that's amazing. We're soul sisters. I'm like, yeah. So I'm going to keep that one to myself. But as she's sharing with me some stuff that I didn't know about, I'm like, yep, sounds pretty much like what an empowered feminine will be. So it's a good thing I'm Maria, though, and I'm not a piece of energy. By the way, when people come in the energy sphere of a 5D mystic, they can't touch this for real, because again, I have a window, a welcome to affect. If you don't believe in mysticism, which I highly doubt, otherwise you wouldn't be here, I can tell you all my cherishable beliefs, for sure. Falsifiable. Hey, determined, come on in. What's up? Robert Sapolsky wrote Determined. He says that the first 3 years of our life make up everything that we're going to become. I have good genes. I have a ventral vagal state. Can't touch this. No. So kids, as I'm growing up, as they chose to be mean, and they chose, it's not personal, and they chose to wield their mouth like adaptive child part people still do as grown-ups. The difference is I'm a grown-up who's an actual grown-up, and when I'm with them, I don't perceive shit because they're not physically threatening. They're not emotionally or mentally threatening, because sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never harm me. And when someone says, until they do, I say, no, not me. Because seriously, what are you going to come out with? I'm a polyamory woman who talks about it freely. Whore? Nope. Masochist? Nope. I'm healthy self-worth one. Sorry, I have secure attachment. You all do what? What do we do? You don't know any of us necessarily, let alone the poly secure ones who don't say, you're not poly enough, and who actually like to talk about topics because, you know, I love a challenge when people are ignorant, that they're actually humorous to me, because I just think, wow, what year do you live in? And where do you live? Under a rock? I'm just asking and wondering. I didn't cheat. Nobody actually accused you of it. Should I ask you more questions? I don't give a shit. So again, empowered women, and that's not only feminines, it's just any empowered person. Empowered feminine means you own your body. So we have a window welcome to affect. That's your window of tolerance. And that's why you do mindfulness, mindset, and mindset practices. Also self-agents. We don't have exiles, so I don't have any insecurity. And people who do, well, guess what happens when they meet self-empowered women as teenagers? That's why I don't even spot envy, jealousy, spite, because pettiness is not something that I actually ever thought of as, wow, there's Lucifer somewhere. Petty means cowards. Cowards are the ones who don't go to Terrio or Patrick Tian. Cowards are also the ones who consistently want to live in a specific way where I'm like, okay, you do recognize that all neuroscience, all neurotheologians, all of the brain smart human beings, the smart ones that get together with mental health, all of the ones that at least I've learned from, again, maybe it's all fake, they all have an answer to how people and their embodied brain is actually doing the very thing Jesus told me. Well, Sadhguru told me, Jesus said it. The kingdom of God is within you. Wow. Restorative embodiment. It's so amazing. And I'm not kidding right now. But what I do know, determined, come on in, Robert Sapolsky, is that even if, let's just hypothetically say no one has free will, because, you know, people like a way to get out of shit, meaning doing the work. I know who's going to come to HP, because I know who I annoyed as a teenager, as I'm just being Maria, and I know to this day, as I'm a grown-up, no, I don't, because as a teenager was the only time. It's not personal. Wait, if I keep my heart open and I'm not sad about it, and it isn't personal, you know what, you're so right, it's not. And when you learn how your personality patterns work with a higher self, and you continue to empower yourself, and then you learn grown-up words to explain it, here you go. So the 5D collective doesn't navigate the low frequency. The 3D, 4D does, and you can better bet we're going to keep making fun of them. They won't know who they are because poor unfortunate souls, so sad, but true. That one wanting to be pretty, that one wanting to get the boy and do. I don't help them, but Ursula does. I do. And how do they help them? I'm a healer. How dare you trauma dump? I told that bitch. Wow, are you? I'm doing light work. I'm doing shadow work. And so they create more groups. And that's why we have a good time. We don't spot the groups. No, we do spot the groups. We just don't highlight them. They, on the other hand, oh, I love when they're going to spotlight every single one of the ones that they're going to dismantle. Because I'm going to dismantle something too. All you need is love. Boom, boom, boom. All you need is love, love. Love is all you need. And there is something that you should know. No, not should, because that activates the sympathetic. Love and fear, they coexist, and they do this. They walk like an Egyptian. So fear consistently exists inside the body of humanity. And today in one of our episodes, I talked about how we feel emotions too. And I know that people of consciousness, the ones who are dressing themselves up, will remind you that feelings don't really exist. They say, you're an embodiment of greatness. And I think you're an embodiment of a piece of energy that goes through a body. You still have feelings. If you don't know how to harness your own nervous system, you ain't shit. Meaning you're your 14-month-old with a teenager in a room, and I'm going to figure it out because I'm going to notice that you're not actually learning things and breaking free from the past. You're going to keep bringing forth the past ancient history books. And my brain is a adolescent brain with a 3-year-old who's old, with a brain that's working here, which is why I hang out with smart and successful and exciting human beings. So when I'm learning information, it's from those people. And when we're hanging out, it's going to be that type of people. So while here, podcast, content creation, creating a community, when we get together, let's get together. Yeah. We're going to have a lot of fun. I can't wait to meet my 5D mystics. Because you know what empowered feminines know? Everything. Oh, is it juicy to be an empowered feminine? So here's the deal. Let me read to you a lovely quote. And that's why those who don't know everything about themselves, by the way, I'm an empowered feminine because I know everything about Maria. I don't know everything about you. I do know the future. Future. Because I saw it. Oh, I can't prove it, of course. But I'm just going to let you all know it's okay. We're going to be okay. And I don't need to tell that to the 5D collective because they already know that too. We're all grounded in reality, right, Sam Harris? So our brains don't fall out of our assholes. People who like academia, they don't have to be in school. They just like to learn, and then they expand their brain. They use the bright sides of neuroplasticity because they don't have shame, no defectiveness here. Otherwise, they're withering away by the minute as they stay within their low frequency because, you know, I am going to make sure to never get fucked again and have a checklist of punishing questions. Why are you going on dates again? I don't think that's the actual best way for you to learn how to use your compass. I really feel if you go to Terry Real or Patrick Tan, maybe Patrick Tan is better because that way you can learn to work with your hypervigilance and your adaptive child part to reparent and then get out of the attachment wound of your father, mother, so whatever's going on. And then maybe with Terry Real, you get to learn how to be a functional adult. Okay, so here there's functional child adults. So the ascension energies bring up all of that, which somebody's going to be either working through, and the 5D collective does. Again, if determined is right, all we're going to have here, love. It's not a performance. I don't act and pretend to be Maria. I am Maria. That's why you heard the stories. I don't change. A whole self doesn't change, as our lovely Dr. Daniel Siegel, because I love you, man. Dr. Dan, I would love to hang out with you some more, but I haven't taken any more new courses. So as he presents, when you're a whole self and you own your sense of self right here, and you're your own self-agent, you're securely attached and untraumatized, whether you're mystic, spiritual, mind, it don't matter. You're going to notice if you're sluggish, you're going to notice you don't know how to harness your nervous system, and you're going to notice your pattern, because we all are a pattern, because you still embody in this body. When you're overflowing in humanity, this is where divinity descends. Thank you, Sadhguru. It's basically your default mode network, downregulated. My left and right work together. My child parts are asleep. If they come up, they got the grown-up right here. And then they got a person who has no shame, because again, you're in flesh. God takes me as I am. He will tell me what I've done wrong or right. And by the way, I always talk to God. So anybody who's in flesh who brings to me fear-mongering, my mother told me what to look for. Again, I don't need to call her every time I see a mean grown-up. I just know, wow, I'm not God. Shit, you're not God either. I don't know. No, I know what you are, and I know where you need to go, but you don't want to go. I have learned, because I'm 4'9", how to make sure to keep it. No, I just learned how teenagers are. So apparently the entire school bus wanted to beat me up. I didn't know about it. Apparently my twin protected me, which I'm sure that can be the case. Do I give a shit that all these idiots wanted to beat me up? No, I don't, because I don't follow idiots. Anyone who doesn't take care of their mental, emotional, physical well-being is an idiot, because, wow, you wake up in the morning with inner and outer critic in your head. You think humanity is going to crumble in foot. Chicken Little, is the sky falling? So this is where I am grounded in reality. When I see unhealthy self-worth human beings, I don't need to make fun of them, actually. They will be re-traumatizing themselves with the fancy lady in her suit and the fancy man who give them the reason to say, it's dangerous to have no emotions. Those modern-day therapists, they're trying to imprison you. And that's their way of not self-sabotaging. They're resisting what their embodied brain is trying to do, which is heal them. No, they're not. They're resisting the grown-ups who actually have data for them. So somebody telling me neuroscience, ha ha ha, someone has to believe in anything. Again, I'm pseudoscience woo lady, but you better bet when people make fun of self-help, personal development, you're gonna wonder, no, I don't. Traumatized people often have trouble regulating by themselves, but they also have trouble seeking others and taking in the support and regulation of others. Thank you, Pat Ogden. So when they react to my ventral energy and they project it, I have yet to see a human being say, wow, I was an asshole because I had trauma and I was unkind, to a human being who's a healthy self-worth person. Not that I would be wanting that or counting it, because really, poor unfortunate souls, so sad but true. The way that a teenager will make up an asshole excuse for themselves is beyond me. I saw it all. I didn't see anything different as I got older and became a mystic. In fact, when you hear somebody saying masculines test you, who? Not me. As you can't test a person who you can't fuck with, because what is fucking with anyways? That word doesn't mean anything. Mental, emotional mastery. Touch me with your hands, I'll report you. I'm physically safe. That's why the teenagers wanted to beat me up. I don't pay attention to any grown-up. I don't even notice it, because that's how insecurity works for people who are insecure. I don't notice it. I don't perceive anything in my body, because my body will alert me if I'm physically unsafe, which I will always listen to. In fact, I don't tell men or women or anyone around me unless I'm with people that other than that, get up, I go. That's what smart people do. So when you have healthy self-worth, it's called self-agency. It's called you got taught how to respect yourself. You learned about it. You didn't lose yourself. No exile here. Again, a teenager who sees pretenders just learns how, as a 45-year-old woman, I'm not impressed by cowards. They still do the same thing. When we bury feelings, we bury them alive. Thank you, Ron Siegel. We wind up living with a heart and mind that are filled with landmines, easily triggered when we go through the world. I didn't think 3D, 4D would stick around, because I have faith in humanity since God created every one of us, and source is what everyone can be, consciousness. But that's not going to be with a non-bilaterally integrated brain, meaning half a brain. People with child parts that are charged, and someone did say those who don't heal their trauma will not manifest. This is where it's a spirituality expert. I'm going to let you know, oh no, fear will manifest. They're just suffering inside their bodies. Because, see, again, God won't leave any of his children out of the picture, but also it's an unrealistic world to think that all people would be in the same frequency, because we can't demand that our partners help us emotionally regulate while projecting our childhood abusers onto them. Patrick Tian. Thank you, Patrick, for being out there. People who think that they need to ask each other some types of questions so they can never get fucked over again should be, instead of getting those types of checklists with a Terry Real or Patrick Tiahan to get their compass, which was gaslit, obviously, back on track. For real, not pretend, to get that 0-1-year-old. So the people who ignore very valuable data. And then there's also other types of things that are very important. Your inner world is your health and well-being when you're non-reactive, when you're able to be flexible, adaptive, coherent, energized, stable. Thank you, Dr. Daniel Siegel. So integration of brain is something that is easily accessible for a securely attached, non-traumatized human being. Your attachment category can switch on and off, but you're the one who can tend to yourself, and that's your, again, functional child. Adults can do this. Here, that's what we do. I talk to you about self-help, personal development for people who are ready to do more. Mindfulness, mindset, because you can, and mindset. What I've realized is being yourself, easy for me, not easy for people who don't like themselves. And when they say, I don't want to be myself, I got to pause self in the forefront of me. I ain't going to say anything because they're going to do, no, don't you understand? You're all egotistical, the ones of you who want to love yourself first. And then there's the ones who go around, I have a right to be myself. That doesn't help. So again, you know, when you got teenagers in the room, they're, and they have to make themselves heard. I did that already when I was a teen. And when someone said, you know, you tell us always what to do and you don't follow it, you don't listen to us. You're right. I'm such a hypocrite. Thank you for pointing that out. I will fix that. And I did. So this is what it means to be objectively subjective as a self-agent who takes ownership of your nervous system, so of your emotions, who can. The ones who have trouble have people that want to help them. The ones who don't want to go, they have plenty of 3D, 4D leaders. They're in Michael Stone's forensic criminologist scale. They're amazingly interesting. No, they're not. I make fun of them. But Wendy, Peter Pan, and Lost Boys will have silverbacks for each other to stand together. And in the charges they go, we'll always recognize them. In the meantime, we get together. Let's get together. Yeah. Because as the ascension energies will continue to flood our lovely planet, we're going to have more fun. And I will continue to tease 3D, 4D in my own way. But in the meantime, lovers get together. And that's all people who love to love and live and laugh and learn and expand and not cast stones. And again, securely attached people. We are of all types, shapes, and forms. And when it's a mystic, it's awesome. And when it's not a mystic, it's awesome too. And that's because those who are of science, who are not in the mysticism plane, they get curious. And those who are skeptics, in a way, though, of being open, also can get curious. So discernment, I'm going to say, is what those who are open with skepticism, because discernment is where you get curious and ask questions and you come in wanting to know more, and you're also aware of you not being right or wrong. So this is that part of I own my cherishable beliefs. I know they can be falsifiable. I own my personal stuff. I know that I don't want to bring it in charged, and that's why we master mental, emotion, physical, and become more of our self-agents. And so with that being said, thanks for stopping by. I wanted to just chit-chat a little bit as our full moon passed. We have some amazing stuff as we move forward. Welcome aboard. Like, share, and subscribe for those of you who are self-agents. Again, securely attached, non-traumatized people are able to easily want to be more of the bubbliness that functional child adults can do. And then we get to make fun of the ones who like to spite each other because it's Pinocchio, Peter Pan. I mean, Peter Pan with Wendy on the island, named Tinkerbell getting jealous with Wendy. I mean, these are the new stories because we overflow with humanity, which reminds me, before I do let you go, because I wanted to read you that quote. Our lovely Sadhguru had a great quote today. And that one is, well, this was yesterday. Life is not a drama that is happening around you. Life is that fundamental dimension that is you. Self-agents know all about it. We have no exiles. So we don't go and have partners that are going to have ourselves be redeemed because we didn't need to get redeemed. None of us felt that we were exiled or judged in this way of my family doesn't see me, at least for me. Then there are some who will come over and say, no, I actually got healed and then I got into relationships. So that's still a person who does psychological development. So again, when people heal themselves from their childhood, then they create healthy self-worth partnerships. So they don't go and have relationships and need to be redeemed. But they'll say, but my story is different because I did have this stuff. I just worked with a therapist on it. And this is what I found out about myself. And we get to talk about that stuff in different ways. And so there it is. No, not that one. Okay, where are you, Sadhguru? Here you are. The same energy manifests in a million different ways, as a stone, a tree, an animal, a human being, or in its subtlest form, the divine. And so when I said we have emotions too, it's because even if we're a piece of this divine consciousness intelligence, you are in a human body. If you don't know how to use your body because you don't use your embodied brain, and that's because you're not an integrated brain, okay? You see where I'm getting? So the people who won't want to believe in it, they still don't. They're actively in their safety behaviors, and that's our 4D mystics, brothers and sisters, and 3D mystics, brothers and sisters, spirit, whatever it is, they're going to be in that frequency. Frontal lobes flop down, their amygdala is working for them. They have neuroplasticity like we do. They're using the dark sides of imagination, and they're using their hissy fit, and they're in fact not doing what is a great time in the brain. Maladaptive patterns can be daydreaming, besides the fucking, the drinking, the drugging. And so when you're using the dark sides of neuroplasticity at a certain point, and you know, it's funny is when people who are shutting themselves in their own little wheelhouse are actually the ones who present you data points, and you think, wow, that's amazing, because, you know, you would think that they would at one point, shape, or form notice themselves. But that's why, thanks Dr. Daniel Fox for letting us know, anyone who has lack of self-awareness, they got mustard on their fucking chin. 7 to 14 aren't charming to me, and they're on Michael Stone's evil scale for a reason. And then 1 to 24 is the entire scale. And when you got stupid brains, they think that people are all manipulable, while I know no, but I do know who could manipulate me and why, as I know myself. And then when people want to try and say, no, you don't know that, you leave it alone, because of course they are, again, chiming in where they're not you and you're not them. But also, as an empowered feminine, I know my gut, and I know my heart, and I know my mind. But there is a reason why we have empowered masculines, and why we always learn from all masculines, all of them, as they teach us all their tricks. Empowered feminines learn from the masculines who are distorted feminines, by the way. And that's because the nervous system, once you get one hit, then you get another hit, and then you get another hit. So when I meet please-appeasers, I've only had to meet a couple of them, like my facade friend, who's another type, before I just know how to spot them. Now, I'm now aware of that frequency, so it just takes nothing more than my own awareness mindfully to notice what I'm around, and that's where I don't really try to put too much energy into it, because once I've realized that I'm not excitedly expanding, I have an evaluation, and then I say, okay, I'm putting it on a scale. Hey, God, what's up? Yes, I love all my brothers and sisters equally. I like all of them, but I really want to hang out with the smart ones. Because, you know, that teddy bear that is please-appeaser is not really a true person. They're faking it. Their pause, the story itself is faking everything. So they're not really into me. It's not a lover of romantic. No, it's just a person. They're self-fulfilling prophecy. They're there, like that one quote from this therapist lady who said, they are not there for you. And like Tara Real says, it's a losing strategy. It's not losing for me, because I'm not arguing with you. So my point is, when you're authentic and transparent, always, and you meet liar after liar after liar after liar, and they're all kids who are afraid of being their own self, you just know the frequency. And since there's only so many of those movements of safety that you will have conducted, only so many child parts, only so many ways that the fake omnipotent brain can work of those who have pathologies. I don't try studying them. They just all come out of the word work in my 45 years of life, and there you go. So it's pretty straightforward. My herd, it expands, and the ones who are in the 3D, 4D, they're still my brothers and sisters, and I still play nice with them. And they don't notice any different. Anybody watch The Gladiator? Yes, so The Gladiator, if you haven't, I'm going to say that it's not something that I would like, watch again, but I might watch a second one with that, which is, you know, household members and whatever, so people who want to watch movies. In the meantime, I'm thinking of the first one, so I didn't see the second one yet. And if I do, I'll let you know what I think about it. But the first one, there's a moment where I'm like, you're an idiot if you do what I think you're going to do. And he does what he thinks. No, what I say, shit, really? You're so stupid. Don't you know how the masses work? Schopenhauer, was it? If you want to reach a large audience, appeal to the masses. Anybody know how the masses work? I'm not part of the masses, although I am part of the masses. I'm just not part of the masses who run off of Facebook and off of anything for some stupid docu-not series. And that's where you learn how to remember that those who are copycats don't know what they're talking about, because they're just following trends. And then you know who are the ones who are not following trends, because they're actually able to come to you with really good data. And there's a difference. So long story short, though, he makes a very stupid decision, and anybody who's smart will notice that too. But he also has some wisdom given to him, and I learned about a lot of things through that movie and more. But we'll be back with more. In the meantime, have a great one. Thanks for stopping by. See you again soon.